Hello, everyone, and good morning. I'm Peaceful Nick, the medium, joined by the amazing Aunt Jen, the aunt you never knew you needed. Hello, good morning, Aunt Jen.
Good morning, Peaceful Nick. How are you doing this morning?
I am looking forward to some laughter, and that's what we're going to talk about today laughter and why we need it now more than ever.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm doing well. Just, doing lots of different things here and there, trying to keep everything organized, enjoying the last cold snap of the season for where I am in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's about to get real hot. Good morning, Vivian.
Good morning, Vivian.
And so, as you all pop in, please say hello. And so, yeah, and then by next week, it'll be hot, and then it'll be hot till probably December.
Right?
I'll be an indoor girl for the next 6 months.
Challenging.
Yeah.
Air conditioning can be a little much.
Well, yeah. Yeah. And I'm growing some plants. I bought some seeds to grow some. This is one of the happiest things. And I don't know why it took me so long to do it. I bought some pots and some soil and some wildflower seeds for the bees and the butterflies.
Ooh.
And I was like, this stuff better bloom.
I love it.
It's starting they're growing, and I'm just so excited that you don't know what you're going to get when you go to a store and you buy seeds. Who knows what's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
And they're starting to sprout, the little seedlings. So I'm very, very, very happy about that. What's happening with you up there?
Oh, just in the moment, I'm just trying to remind myself to look at the camera versus you, but I'm not sure.
I do the same thing.
I'm not sure it's ever really going to happen to me. So it's always going to look like my eyes are like half closed because it's just,
I do the same thing.
It's so natural for me just to look at you. I'm talking with you. So like to sit there and look at a camera because that's what, supposed to, it looks visually more appealing is challenging for me.
Yeah.
I'm doing very well. Thank you. I am very happy to be here. I have, when we can't gather, it's definitely, always wanting to gather, and we do the best that we can. So it's nice to be back with one of my main laughter partners because.
Oh, and we've had some laughs.
Oh, and we can just laugh, like just to like laugh, like of anything like that you can possibly think of. Even just like I was thinking about it, like with laughter, even to begin with. And there's definitely certain people that like I was thinking about that like I will actually do whatever I can to make them laugh because their laugh is so wonderful to listen to. Like it's just like some people I think just have these amazing, like very contagious forms of laughter. And so when I find those type of people, I will definitely do whatever I can to kind of poke that to get them to laugh because their laughter just brings joy to myself and also it makes me laugh.
Right, of course. I want to say hello to Holly and hello to Nisi. If you are here, there's several people popping in. If you're here, say hello. If you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe to the channel, like and share with your loved ones. Hi, Mangled. Good morning. And Nisi said, and we do truly need to laugh, especially in the workplace and life arena. Hello, Gina. And one of my favorite memories of laughing with you in particular, and Holly, who's here as well, is when you laugh about something and then you can't stop laughing. And you just keep laughing. And no matter what, hi, Gavstar TV. British expat here. Test my humor. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be testing humor. I'm glad you're here. We're talking about the way we need to laugh, like why laughter is important. That's what we're talking about. But we are happy to keep you. We're happy to have you here.
Laughter is actually a form of medicine.
Absolutely, it's a form of medicine.
Mhm.
Hello, Laura. Hello, Annie. Mangled said, can't stay. I'm in the hospital with kidney stones. Girl, you are going through it. Everybody send prayers, love, and healing to Mangled. Drink
Oh,
more
Mangled.
water. Oh, honey. Oh, take good care of yourself. Everybody
Yes.
send love to Mangled. She's been so helpful on these lives, and she deserves love.
And here she is still
Here she
showing
is,
up.
showing
Hopefully,
up.
we can give you a little bit of laughter. Don't want to, maybe that can help the situation, just laughing for a few minutes. But yes, we are definitely thinking of you, sweet girl.
Let's see if we can get the British expat to laugh by. I'm going to tell a story on us.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Uh,
Actually, bring it on. Bring it on.
all right, Gav Star. Jen and I, we have two stories. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to tell this one first.
Okay.
We were driving someone home. Now, this was in the 90s. So I can't say that we were in our right minds at all times because we were young, 20s, early 20s, having fun. It was nighttime. We're driving. You were driving. You were always the driver. Driving through San Francisco to take Tori, this girl, Tori, home. And we're driving over this little hill and behind us. And, we were a little paranoid. I was anyway. Behind us comes 10 cop cars just with all. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, God, I've told this story 1,000 times.
I'm like, no.
10 cop cars with their lights blaring and their sirens on. And I'm like, I swear to God, my heart stopped and my life flashed before my eyes because I don't want to get in trouble.
Of course not.
And we were like, we're just driving our friend home, and I'm like freaking out. And it was like slow motion. Here come the cops behind us. And I think you had, what was your car's name? I don't remember. You had anyway, it doesn't matter. And here come the cars zooming over the hill behind us. And it was like slow motion and the lights were going and the lights were going. And I'm like, my heart is stopping. My heart is stopping. Everything is slow motion. And I'm like, we're going to go to jail. We're going to die. Oh my God. And here they come and whoom, they went right past us. So,
I'm not glad you find that funny. I'm like, now in hindsight, but I'm thinking maybe it wasn't that funny in the moment. And like, yeah, that could be a very funny situation.
It's funny now, but at the time, it was hard. Like my heart, I swear my heart stopped. My life stopped. I was so terrified that we were going to get in trouble. But now it's hilarious. To me, it's hilarious because it's like we're just two young 20-something girls in a car driving home.
Right.
And here come all these cops like we weren't doing anything wrong.
Right. We were thinking they're coming after us.
Yeah, of course. You got 10 cop cars with their lights blaring and the sirens on behind you. Like you definitely think you are going to jail forever. Good morning, Debbie. Gina said, the last time I had a good laugh was a couple of weeks ago. I was watching Have I Got News for You on CNN. The comedians are hilarious. Oh, I didn't even know that was a show. Okay. And okay. So, Aunt Jen,
do you have another story?
Before I'll get to the other story if I can remember it. Oh, it was about the bowling. Okay. So
are you going to tell these stories?
It was funny. It's the laughter show.
Okay.
Tell everyone. So for those who don't know, Aunt Jen is a meditation expert and a meditation teacher and is a self-love expert and self-love mentor. And so tell us why, when you're going through the self-love journey and healing journey, why is laughter so important?
I don't have one of the things about me, and maybe someone can pull it up, but there's many benefits that I don't have stated in front of me of what laughter can do for you to begin with. It's changed. The first thing that I think about that I will address with it, it changes your state of mind. So being able to like change your state of mind, even for the moment, right? Being in the moment of whatever's taking place and being able to laugh at it changes your state of mind. And it definitely, brings your endorphins up, and like, there's many benefits is really what it is. It's all positive. There's not really any negative per se benefits, I would say, from laughter, except getting into trouble, which was something that would happen to me regularly. Like I think about you think about stories, and I don't have a specific story, but when I think about laughter, even just from the very, very beginning, I had a childhood friend that I made in nursery school, and we got in so much trouble because we would just look at each other and laugh. It was just like this, whatever was going on, we would just start laughing. We would pretend like we were spying. I don't know if anyone else did that when they were a kid, but we would try and sneak up on our moms as they're hanging out together. And we never really got very far because they could hear us, because us two girls were laughing constantly. Anywhere you went, you could just hear this, and that I think about is think about that story and those situations, actually, just that time in my life. Because even though I didn't, we got in not trouble, but you'd get caught in different things, but it was it was such a natural expression until the world kind of takes over, and then it becomes a completely different scene. But being able to go back to that childlike behavior of laughing, and there's many different forms of laughter. I know that some people enjoy watching, things where people are falling and, doing things. I personally don't find that funny, and I don't that doesn't work for me for laughter. But it's really, you have to find what works for you, what makes you laugh, what kind of happens for you. I think it's because of being bullied so badly. I don't laugh when I'm watching someone else being bullied. That doesn't bring joy to me. And I'm not going to wrong people if that's, something that you're tapping into. I just think that there's many other sources of laughter that you can use. There was actually this woman at this place that I worked at for a long time, and she actually had a laughter meditation. That's what it was called. And she would lead this whole meditation based on laughter, and a lot of it started by her just laughing, and then everyone it's very contagious if you think about it. If you have a real true, not a just laughing but a real gut-wrenching belly laugh, that's kind of going on with inside yourself, it's extremely contagious. If you just start laughing, if we wanted to, you and I start laughing, it would be contagious in that way. So sometimes it's just tapping into whatever that may be. It's kind of I'll say, if you have a harder time tapping into laughter, just like you might have a harder time tapping into sadness, being able to release it. Sometimes movies, certain movies that, there's definitely movies that I can still watch and they still make me laugh. It doesn't matter if I've seen it a million times, it just brings out and invokes this laughter in me, and it becomes medicine. It changes your whole dynamic within yourself by laughing, and also getting to the end result of being able to laugh at yourself, not in a negative way of oh my gosh, I'm so, this was whatever it was, but just being able to laugh at yourself for things that you do. That's laughter, that can be a very powerful piece. And that's definitely a piece that I've always been working towards, is being able to just laugh at myself per se. And then when you're with other people, they're not laughing at you, they're laughing with you. There's a very big difference between people laughing at you and then laughing with you, because you tapped into that laughter of whatever that may be that has happened with you. So it's just another form of medicine. Truly, I believe it's just another form of medicine. And how can we get back to that? That life is so heavy right now, and everything is so dense, and there's just so much going on. And so it's how can we bring a little more laughter into our own personal life as a form of medicine to just help lighten the load?
I couldn't agree more. We need it so badly. I just want to say hi to Debbie, Carol, and Carrie. And Vivian said, I definitely laughed with myself and got myself through years of misery. And I want to say that when I was going through undergraduate, when I was in college, I had a couple of friends, and we would get bored in class because you can only listen to so much microbiology over and over, class after class. We know about the worms and the cells and the plasma membrane. Like, it gets boring. So we cause so much trouble. Especially the labs when you had to do a boring plant lab and you're like, oh my God, we know what a plant leaf looks like. We don't have to spend 3 to 4 hours in the lab looking at this crap again. And so we would cause so much trouble. We drove the professors crazy. We would get just enough trouble just to not get kicked out of college. Because, you can only look at a plant leaf so long, right? You can only look.
And even if you're not, I mean, I was not the scholar. And so I used laughter as a distraction. And I would try, and now I realize I was distracting a lot of my peers and friends in class because I didn't know what was going on. And so I'm just like, well, let's just make this fun. So I would get into trouble. I didn't know where the line was on being able to create fun, because I see now that was my mechanism, because I didn't know how, learning was just so, it went right over my head. And so I just checked out. I was like, well, let's just make this kind of fun because I have no idea what's going on in here. So that definitely created a lot of energy that would, it's, you think you're being real quiet and coy, and you're not. Like, that was always my, that's, I think I look at that kind of stuff. I look back at that and laugh at myself of being like, oh, you think that like you were so quiet, and like, no one, it's like, please girl, like there's nothing quiet about you. And distractions and causing people to laugh during class, like it can be very disruptive.
Or when you were in mass and it was Ash Wednesday, you could tell us.
That was accident.
I'm gonna tell a story on Aunt Jen. That's funny. As a Catholic, a person who grew up Catholic, I grew up born and raised and taught at Catholic schools for 20 years, attended a Catholic high school. Jen also attended a Catholic high school. Well, but you weren't really raised with all the Catholic traditions.
No, but you either had to go to mass or you went to study hall, and I was definitely not going to study hall.
Yeah, how boring.
What was I studying?
Like, yeah, you'd have been in real big trouble.
Yeah, so I thought I'd just go to mass.
So what happened? Ash Wednesday, for those of you who aren't Catholic, is when it's 40-ish days before Easter, and it's the day after Fat Tuesday, if you know what Fat Tuesday is in New Orleans. You go to mass and they say, you came from dust, you'll return to dust. And they put a cross of ashes on your forehead. So if you ever see somebody on TV in usually February or March, they have this ashy cross on their head. It's Ash Wednesday. So you go up to the priest, you're in line, and what happens?
Well, okay. So there was no line to go up. It was the line to get out.
Oh.
So they stood at the exits.
Oh, that's not how we did it. That's amazing.
So they could get all of the souls on their way out. So I was in line and I'm like, oh geez, how am I going to get out of this one? Because we can't go home with this on our head, nor is this something that we understand. So, I mean, I just ducked right underneath the priest, and I just got added in detention because it was considered disrespectful. And then they found out, like, you shouldn't have been there, Jennifer. And I was like, well, I mean, that's how it goes. But it definitely caused a lot of ruckus on its own, I guess, just the way that I kind of ducked, or, whatever it was, like just trying to, like, but you weren't supposed to go out of there without that happening because it was a little obvious. So, but, my state of mind was like, well, I mean, why can't I be there to listen and be a part of it? Like, I didn't understand but that was considered being disrespectful. And I should have been in study hall, apparently. So I was added. I had my own seat in detention. So they were just like, well, we'll just see you again. And I was like, okay, here we go. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if I thought that was very funny at the time. Now I look at it and I'm like, ooh, geez. Like, that was like, but yeah, that did happen. Mm-hmm.
I love that story. I've told it a million times. And funnily enough, I worked at that school years later. It was probably my favorite place I ever worked. And if they hadn't have closed the school down, due to, low enrollment, because that's what happens in all girls schools, I would have probably stayed there forever. I enjoyed being there very much. And so I told that story to my students many times. My best friend went to the school. Especially when it was Ash Wednesday Mass Day. I would definitely bring out the story. I never revealed your name to them. So if any of them are watching, it was
me.
The notorious Ash Ducker. All right. Gina said, I laughed at Mass before. In my effort to quiet my laugh, I ended up making a really loud noise, and everyone turned around. I ducked so nobody could see me. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, I was
a lot of those.
Yeah, after that school closed down, I was at an all-boys school, Catholic school, and the priest said, so I don't even remember what it was, but I'm a smart ass. And sometimes religious people say things that are like so out of touch with reality. And so this was a faculty mass. This wasn't like a regular mass. This was all adults who are supposed to be professional. And the bosses are, the principal, the president of the school, all the big wigs are there in the mass. And they said something, I couldn't tell you what it was, and probably something about being submissive to a man or some kind of BS like that. And I just made this. I mean, I can't control my truth. It comes out. And so I made some kind of noise, and I had to cover it up with a cough. My two colleagues were next to me, two female colleagues, and they both looked at me. They totally knew I was doing that. It wasn't on purpose, but it was like a visceral reaction to the stupid shit the priest said. And I was like, I think it's amazing because you guys are crazy. So anyway, that's my story. I was an adult, Gina, so I wasn't in second grade, so I have no excuse. Hampton said the U.S. has threatened to drop their biggest bomb on Iran. B-52s are being loaded right now with DVDs of Melania's movies.
I must have missed something. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, we're in this fate with this war with Iran, which everybody is pissed off about. Well, Melania had a documentary that Jeff Bezos paid all that money, like $80 million, and like it was the biggest flop ever. And so Hampton is saying they're dropping their biggest bomb. They're loading up the B-52s with DVDs of Melania's movies, and that's
oh gosh. I think that also, not to side note that, but the thing that I thought about before you read that comment was like, I actually now find laughter so important to me, besides other things, that like I witness and watch, like, who can I laugh with? Like, do we laugh? Is everything so serious? Like, do we not have a good time together? I even watch, like, that's something that when I'm observing other couples or people that are together, like, do they laugh together? Do they, like, can you just make things funny? Like, what is that kind of, like, how is laughter brought into your life on a daily basis? Besides, like, the stories that you're telling and, I'm telling, and it's like, I'm sitting here trying to rack my brain as I'm thinking about it. Hadn't even thought about, like, what are some funny stories? And nothing's coming out in my mind, just because I feel like most of the time, I mean, not always, of course, but generally speaking, when I am having a conversation with you, I'm going to use you as an example. You're a great example for myself. But I would say that, like, we cover so many things in the gamut, that vast in our conversations. But I would have to say, like, we laugh at least 1 to 2 times in every conversation.
At least,
like,
yeah.
It's not into this whole, and so to me, like, that becomes another form of medicine in my friendship, right? Besides all the other beautiful gifts that we give each other in that. But like, laughter is so huge, especially right now. Like, it's like, how can we continue to laugh? How can we continue to find the humor in whatever it may be so that we can help to just make things lighter within ourselves? I mean, the power of, like, I did not prepare. So excuse me, I will look at myself for that for later, of being able to have like a list of all the things, of all the benefits, of all the like, but we all have Google, we all have access to it. And I'm telling you, there is a large list of benefits for laughing. The only negative thing that I could say that would be about laughter would be getting in trouble because you're causing some kind of a ruckus. That's the only personally like negative thing. I mean, laughing at other people, like that was way long ago when you're doing that when you're a young kid, which that I wouldn't recommend. And also just in general, like laughter is one of the best medicines. Besides, there's a lot more too.
There's a million benefits. It's really good for your body in a million different ways. It definitely releases endorphins, which are the happy hormones, or yeah, hormones. And it's like having a very wonderful experience with another person. Laughter can do the same thing. Like it's a release.
Yes.
It's a release in so many ways, and it's healthy. And I agree. I don't enjoy laughing at other people. And when I see people that are adults that are laughing at the pain of other people, I'm not talking about laughing with someone. I'm talking about laughing at someone. There's a huge difference between those two things. So I always take note if I see an adult in my life who's laughing at the pain of someone else, that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Laughing with someone who can laugh at themselves is a very different story, right? It's those are two very different things. I want to say hi to Holly again, who's talking about enjoying this conversation and when we all three used to laugh together, when we all lived as roommates together back in the olden days. Gavstar, I didn't understand your humor and I'm trying to keep the vibe high. So I don't understand British humor. So yeah, I'm just keeping the vibe high. Hampton said, since 2016, when Orange Man became president, you don't see people laughing out loud together on the streets. Yeah, because everybody's so stressed now they have to have 18 jobs to just make ends meet. In a bar, it'll happen, but out and about, there's no fun anymore. Yeah. And so that's why we're having this conversation about why it's important. We have to get back to that. We have to build communities. I'm a medium. I'm a scientist. I paint. I do some artwork. We have to build communities of people who can share some of the same interests, laugh together. Aunt Jen is a meditation expert, a healer in her own right. And we have so many things in common and we have such a history together. There's a million things we can laugh about, but we can also come here and do a live stream on a Wednesday morning and talk about why laughter is important. Space Mermaid, hello. Good morning. I'm a little late. I'm sorry if you covered this, but I feel like I've gotten so bogged down by life that it's rare to find something that can make me laugh. I miss belly laughing.
Sometimes going back to like the movie that comes to my mind that I'm like, oh, there's definitely, I can find laugh. Bridesmaids. That movie.
Oh my God. Bridesmaids.
That movie makes me laugh.
Like I love funny movies. I agree. Bridesmaids. Sisters is another hilarious one. Probably because I have so many sisters and Jen and I have been in some of the same antics that was in that movie.
Yes.
I did find a new show. It's really good. There's only 2 episodes out with Steve Carell called Rooster. And it's really, really well done. A kind of just a new type of storyline that you don't really see. Very, very funny. I love Talladega Nights. I could watch that movie. I love Will Ferrell. Anything satirical. I love stand-up comedy.
Yes.
All of that.
remember old school, like Eddie Murphy Raw?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
gosh, that was
When I watch those back, though, I have a very different. It's a little too raw. Like when I was younger, I thought it was funny, but now that
yeah,
I'm older, I'm like, some of that stuff's not as funny
not
to
as
me now
funny
that
anymore.
I'm older. Yeah,
But
yeah.
there are good, like, there's a girl, I think her name's Angela. She's like, there's some great comedians that are not making fun of other people. They're just making fun of themselves and life. And like, so I definitely will do the 15, which means that I'll watch it for 15 minutes to see what's happening. And if I'm not laughing within the first 15 minutes, like I'm out. But I mean, that sometimes, like, that's what I will use. I don't go back to Eddie Murphy Raw. I was just saying back in the day, like, because I had the same experience of being like, oh, this used to be so funny. And I'm watching, no, this isn't as funny. But Bridesmaids, I can always go back and watch that one. Or there's a lot of other movies that are not coming to my head that are back in the day per se, that still evoke that laughter within me. And so if you're finding it hard, this is just another example of like, what's a movie that makes you laugh? Like literally makes you laugh so much that it's just like, you're going to have to go to the bathroom because you're about to just go.
So everybody put in the chat, what movie do you think is the funniest, or stand-up comedians?
Yeah.
I love watching Jim Gaffigan, and there's this lady, I'll think of her name in a minute. The people who do stand up about regular everyday things, and they're not making fun of other people to try and lift themselves up. Yes. I do have to say, I love Kathy Griffin and her old stand up. Oh my God. So let us know what kind of funny movies you guys, will go to. I also watch Grace and Frankie a lot. I could watch that. Oh, it's a comfort. It's a comfort show for me. And I watch The Big Bang Theory a lot, and Friends. I used to watch Friends all the time, but now I'm kind of more watching The Big Bang Theory.
But you forget sometimes, like in Friends, I forget sometimes how funny some of that stuff really is, because you're just kind of like, it's been on for so long, or like, but even something that simple can just help bring you out of where you are in your mind, even if it's only for 5 minutes, and then you end up back. That's okay. Like at least like you moved some energy. So it's like trying to find things that work for you. I mean, calling a friend that you can laugh with, that's a great one. Like, that you can just like be able to, like, we can always find something to laugh at, you and I mean, just.
Oh yeah. We're getting the show I was trying to think of is Leanne. I can't remember her last name. She's a stand-up comedian. She's from Tennessee. She's very Southern. She has stand-up. That's hilarious.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. She's funny.
And she has a show on Netflix that's very good, and it's called Leanne, and it's about, I think, 16 episodes. It's excellent.
She is funny.
Yeah, she's very funny. And Schitt's Creek, yes.
Schitt's Creek, I can watch that one. Oh, that one.
Oh, I watch it all the time.
That one can just make me laugh. Like literally just such a fun, good, lighthearted laughter show that like I adore. So glad.
Well, Moira is the best. I mean, God bless her. Leanne Morgan. Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Leanne Morgan. So those shows are great, and it's good so I would say if you are looking for something to watch or listen to, don't make it the news right now. It's okay. In 5 seconds, you can find out everything that's going on. You don't need to know what's going on, every single detail of the news. It's too heavy. And we need to build up the energy. We need to come back together. We need to laugh. We need to get back to basics, fundamentals. We need social skills. So many people are lacking social skills, especially this younger generation. Kindness. Yes, all of it.
Starting with ourselves.
Yes.
When we treat people, the way we treat people is generally a reflection of ourselves. And so how we're feeling, not always, but it definitely can be. And so like starting with ourselves with kindness, starting with ourselves with laughter, and then being able to take that out into the world and share that with everybody else. But we have to start with ourselves, even if it just means it might sound crazy, looking in the mirror and just laughing.
Yeah.
Same things like looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I love you. I'm proud to be you. I'm grateful. Like whatever that might look like. And it might seem like that's crazy. Like, have you ever tried it? I have. And it is hilarious. Like actually had a good time just sitting there laughing at myself, not judging, just laughing, like being able to see what that looked like, to be able to laugh, of like witnessing what other people see when you're laughing. And it's like, oh, that's pretty funny. Like, especially when you're like fully immersing yourself in that laughter. It's not something that's like, oh, let me make myself laugh. Like, ha 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 ha, that's funny. Like, it's real belly laughing of like, this is funny.
Yeah, it's interesting because then you get to see what other people see when you're laughing very hard, and I get joy in seeing people fully laugh,
Me
like,
too.
enjoy themselves,
And I
when
just, sorry, go on.
it's just there's no inhibitions, right? They're not trying to fake anything, and you can tell when it's a fake laugh and when it's a real laugh.
And
We have some.
generally for my, what I was going to say about that is generally for myself, like when someone is fully belly laughing, like I might not even know what's going on, but I will usually catch on and just start laughing because someone's laugh is so intoxicating that I am just so drawn to that. That's again bringing it back of like certain people that their laughter just brings me so much joy that I'll do whatever I can to make them laugh because I want to hear them laugh because it's just so funny. I mean, not funny that they're laughing. The way that they're laughing is so beautiful. It really is to me that it like is contagious. And so it makes me want to bust into laughter. And those type of people, I like to keep them around.
Gavstar said, how do you feel about Jimmy Carr? I've never heard that name in my life, so I don't know who that is. So I have no opinion about that. So any other in the comment section, any other shows, comedians, comedy, movies, anything, put those in the comments. And how do you guys feel about laughing and how it's important and affects your life, right? How do you guys feel about that? Is it something that helps you? We need to laugh more. We need to be we need to smile more.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's definitely a very big one. And that's the reason why we decided that we'd bring this topic up, is just to kind of make things a little lighter in general, just because of all the heaviness and everything that's going on in the world, and not to minimize it, but to be like, that happens and we can still bring laughter into our life and having to deal with all the heaviness that's going on in the world. It's not going to shift and change. We can shift and change that within ourselves to just kind of make it a little lighter. Like thinking about the times that you laugh so hard that you're like literally crying. Like,
oh, yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
those are some of my favorite ones, or even just being able to think about something and start laughing that you're remembering. I mean, you've got some great stories that regard me that I'm like, okay, those aren't that funny, but okay. I'm glad you find humor in it and I'm not offended by it because it's a very different situation. But it's like some of these memories have kept you in laughter for years, right? Years of being able to go like, oh my gosh, this happened, and oh, this happened. And it's like, I can think of those myself. I just can't think of them off the top of my head right now. And I think it's because I try and really, keep it going as much as I can. And I definitely have lacked a little less laughter, and so I'm trying to bring that back in and remind myself as well. So, I think it's important to just state, whether it's not been stated, like, yes, we're here and showing up, but we're also doing the work ourselves and reminding it. So it's not coming from some place like, you should do this. It's like, this is also a reminder for us of like, oh yeah, remember laughter? Like, let's bring that on, even though our exchanges that take place, there's always a moment of laughter. We always laugh about something, you and I, and we've always had that within ourselves. Like, I think that that's something that drew us with our friendship to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And, I enjoy making people laugh. Like, there's definitely people that are more funny than others. And I do tend to think that I can be pretty funny. Like, that's why I can laugh at myself. And I enjoy spreading love. And I also really enjoy making people laugh.
Absolutely. I think I'm hilarious personally, and I have no problem admitting I make myself laugh more than anybody makes me laugh because
You're
I
fast.
get myself. So my husband is very funny and he's always cracking jokes or having something funny to say all the time, every day, many times a day. And I think I'm funny. He doesn't think I'm as funny as I think I am, but I don't care because I think I'm funny and I understand my own jokes. And so if I can just laugh by myself, I'm fine with that. I'm hilarious to me.
And I think that is extremely healthy. And I think that that's something that shows like that when you can get to that place, it's not like, oh, wow, look at you. But it is in some ways. It's like when you've come to that place where you can actually laugh at yourself and not worry about making others laugh and not worrying about how they're affecting you, you have a really good sense of yourself. And having that as one of the tools that you can pull upon for yourself is like a very positive thing. So we walk around with toolboxes. That's how I look at it. I look at myself as, that's how I look at like what I show up to offer is I'm just trying to help bring some more tools into your toolbox. Like maybe they'll work for you, maybe they won't work for you. What do you got in your toolbox? What do I have in, it's like those are things that are important. And so I think that shows like the level of love that you have for yourself, the level of understanding, the level of acceptance, and also the level of like not giving a shit, like what other people think, which is, a beautiful place to be. It's important to, understand there's other people involved. And it's really important to be A-OK 100% with you.
And I appreciate that. And it's true. We have to stop. And I want to get to some of the comments here in a second, but we have to stop worrying about what everybody else thinks about us. That is a problem in our society that has kept us from exploring who we really are authentically, because we're always so worried about what does this person think of us? What does that person think of us? And I just have this ability most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, to not care what anybody else thinks. I'm going to be respectful to people. I'm going to care about people. I'm going to be kind to people. And if I think I'm funny and crack an inappropriate joke to myself, and everybody else thinks I'm a weirdo, that's not my problem. I think I'm funny.
You have very much had that for a very long time as I've known you. It's very true, because I definitely have always noticed that within you of being like, not that you don't are affected by people, but you were not affected in the same way that I was. Because I remember I was 13 when I met you. So we have a long history. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't say that you didn't have to work at that the same level, but I would say you had a stronger sense of yourself. I mean, I think that was one of the reasons that I was drawn to you in friendship, was because of that sense. And it's like, having people that like, they have something that you want to acquire, that you want, something that you want to not take away from someone else, will be like, wait, I love that about you. I want that within me. How can I do that? Like, oh, this person has it. So by you saying that, the truth is that I've always witnessed that within you. I think it's gotten stronger and stronger as you've gotten older, but from the minute I met you, you had this sense of you, because I remember that was something that I was actually attracted to, of being like, whoa, this girl like has herself. Like, it was just the way you talk. It's the way people talk, the way they carry themselves, their energy that they're putting off. Like, it just is this energy of like, yeah, I got me. And
well, and I really, really am grateful for those comments. And I will say that probably part of that, if, maybe a majority of it, came from having to have myself because nobody else had me. Like, I basically raised myself my entire life and mostly had to do everything for myself from the get-go. So, that kind of, it turned into a benefit for me.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No. And that is something that can take place, because you and I had similar things where we had only ourselves, and yet that wasn't something that I possessed. starting off with, because I was so affected by other people and I just wanted love so bad
Right.
that I wanted people. And so I let that influence me in so many different ways. And so that was a muscle that I had to continue to work on. But yeah, I would say that that definitely was, but it was definitely something that you've always possessed.
Thank you. And I want to say, Vivian said, I have a great sense of humor that is not always appropriate or understood by most folks. My coworkers can't understand why I'm always smiling with myself. Keep smiling, girl. Keep shining.
Mm-hmm.
She said, the world is perfect inside my head. Gina loves puns, even if they're corny. Absolutely. And then Vivian said, I believe it does take a certain level of intelligence to understand humor. Yeah, that's why I always tell people, my loved ones in my life, that when they don't laugh at my jokes, I'm like, I guess you're just not smart enough to understand the joke. I'm being, facetious, of course, when I say that.
And there's a lot of humor that people don't get. And that's a whole nother story. I mean, there's many different countries and, people that have a more dry sense of humor and a more sarcastic and there's so many different levels of humor of what, you can tap into and what works for you. It's about really finding what works for you.
And this is perfect for this conversation. And I know I'm covering up with my Mandy blanket, which is from my niece. I'm freezing. I'm Florida cold. It's 70 degrees and I'm freezing. Okay. So Space Mermaid said, and I think Aunt Jen, you could totally help Space Mermaid with this. I'm in my early 30s and I struggle so much with being authentic and not caring what others think. I wasn't allowed to be myself in my family growing up, and it still affects me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So what kind of advising can you give to Space Mermaid to not care what others think? What have you learned for your journey? See, I could give her all kinds of advice because I don't give a F what anybody thinks anyway. But you had to go through that journey.
You just gotta keep going, and you get to make a choice of, as you're learning within yourself of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, of realizing the energy of other people. And so it's really a process. It's a process of learning to be with yourself. And so that would be the first thing that I would say is how much are you with yourself? How much are you feeling yourself? How much are you and what it means by that is well, what does that mean? And it's it's how much time are you willing to be with you? And if you're not willing to be with yourself, that's the first step. Because the more comfortable and you become with you on all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the whatever, the more it kind of pours out into everywhere else that you are.
Yes.
And it also is a place of, you said she's in her 30s?
Early 30s.
Okay. I remember those years. Yeah. And, there's also times of honestly, let's say that there's another piece to it where you do have a good sense of yourself per se, and yet you still aren't, your authenticity is not welcome wherever you're going. That's the phrase I like to use. Then sometimes that means that you don't go.
Right. Absolutely. And that statement you taught me changed my life. And I have repeated it 1,000 times. Can you say it again to Space Mermaid?
When your authenticity is not welcome, then sometimes that means you're not going, because it depends on, so that's why it's having a certain sense of yourself, meaning having yourself to know what is the best place for you to go? What are the best things for you to do? And I have to say that I like to gather evidence personally, meaning that if my authenticity was not welcome, which definitely has happened to me maybe a couple times in my life.
A couple million.
Yeah, a million. And I choose to not go somewhere because I can feel I'm in touch with myself. I don't really know why per se, but I just know this is not for me. I'm not welcome here. This is not the opportunity. I look for the evidence after of the confirmation of how I made the best choice. And generally speaking, I always find it. Whether it be I hear a story about the event that took place and I'm like, oh, girl, I'm so glad I was not there. Or whatever that kind of is, like whether it be like days later and I'm at a certain state in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that I didn't go into that. Like, it's really about understanding and knowing yourself. There are many people that like, they're just not as energy sensitive per se. And so until they learn how to protect themselves, like they can go out there and do all kinds of stuff. Cause I know for myself, I always compared myself to that and be like, what's wrong with me? I can't just shake it off or laugh it off or whatever it might be. The story I would tell myself. And the truth is like, that wasn't me. And I'm okay with that. Like, I am very energy sensitive. I understand things very differently now of going into a space with my energy, where it's welcome, where it's not welcome, how it's going to get depleted, how I can protect myself. But when you're trying to figure it out, I would say the most important thing, at least the path that I went on, was to find my authenticity within myself and allow myself to be authentic with me. And then whoever was around, then that authenticity kind of would roll over into the places that it was accepted, and the places that it wasn't per se, well, then you're not really missing me then. So
right.
why am I going to be there per se and so there was a lot of, it still takes place. I'm still somebody who will check out the situation to find out if I really want to go. But it has gotten over the years, it's shifted. But for a lot of years in my 30s, like I was not going places per se. And it wasn't, I definitely would have a struggle. There was definitely times when I'm like, okay, maybe I could have pushed myself a little more, but push myself for what? Like if I'm in a certain state or if I'm just not feeling that way or, it's kind of going on. And then there are times when it is important to push ourselves and go do something, but it's also like, well, then give yourself some guidelines, meaning, okay, I'm going to go for only this amount of time. Like I'm the queen of pop and roll. I love popping and rolling. And what that means is I will pop in and then when I'm ready, I roll on out.
Yes.
So I definitely am not somebody, I used to like to be at places early. I like to watch everyone arrive. I like to see kind of what's happening. That was me. And then as things would get going and stuff would go on, I would roll on out as I was watching things, whatever was transpiring, whatever was going on. So that is being authentic to you, being able to take care of yourself and not completely exclude everyone else and not showing up to stuff unless it's really detrimental to who you are. Like, then I would not go, period. And I would find the evidence on how I made the right choice for myself, whether it be that I stayed home and watched a movie that made me laugh.
Right. And I would say that I agree with that completely, that when your authenticity is not welcome, and I learned that from you, and it shifted a lot of things for me, a lot of things, just that one statement, my authenticity is not welcome. And I want to tell a story. I have a loved one in my life who I know their whole family, and their families rejected this person, even though this person needs help. And this person was saying to me a couple of years ago, I just wish I could have a family holiday with my family. They rejected me. Now, the reason they rejected her is because there's a lot of dysfunction in the family, and she's right now the scapegoat. And so I said, well, imagine this family holiday and imagine you're 30 minutes in, imagine what would be happening. Think about what types of personalities you want to be around. And she said, oh my God, I cannot even imagine spending 30 minutes with those people. So sometimes what we want is the fantasy of a family who accepts our authenticity.
Yes.
So you have to build that family, whether it's through friendships, through coworkers, through a partner that you built your own family with. And if your partner doesn't accept your authenticity, you should rethink that relationship.
And you said something really profound, I felt like, a lot of times that souls sometimes that might align with their authenticity is not welcome here is the scapegoat in the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the one that doesn't, and so it's like, if you're not there to cause all the whatever's going on, then maybe that changes, but you're also the one that brings everyone together in a weird way. So it's like this very, interesting situation. And then there are times when you, like I said, finding the evidence of like going to a family event and I'm there and I'm like, why am I even here? No one even cares. Like, not that they need to go and, pull out the red carpet, but I'm like, I could give or take if I'm here or I'm not here. So why am I putting so much pressure on myself to be here, to show up when it's like, I could be doing a lot of other things with my energy. I mean, I could call Nicole for 5 minutes and be way more fulfilled than going over and just being in a place where no one even wants to hear, feel, or see what you are even talking about. And sometimes that's okay. Knowing it, going into it, this is what I need to do. I'm going to show up for that's what I'm saying. Pop and roll, pop in and roll on out.
Exactly. And the person I was talking about, that family, because she's not involved in the family anymore, they found a new scapegoat.
Right.
Shocking. So just think, if you're the scapegoat in your family and you remove yourself, they're going to find a new one because they have to have somebody to point at. You're the bad one. You're the wrong one. Look at all the mistakes you made, because when they're pointing at you, they're not looking at themselves.
Well, and you're causing people to like maybe think more than they want to, or I mean, it's like you're the provoker. I mean, whether or not whatever's happening, you're provoking and changing the dynamics of the relationship of it being controlled in a way they want it to be controlled. And now you've upset the whole matrix. What are you going to do? Exactly.
I'm just reading some of the hilarious jokes. One, Hampton said, today my doctor told me that my DNA was backwards. I said, and? That's really funny. And then Space Mermaid said, I love that, Aunt Jen. Thank you.
Anytime.
Vivian said, my spirit guides told me you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting yourself or someone else. True happiness comes from being your true self. 1,000,000 billion trillion %, Vivian.
And sometimes you have to stay within that until you feel strong enough to go out there into the world. There's times of like, it's a kind of, expanding, going out there and being able to go internally and then expanding again, because it's important to be able to go out there, but it's important to go within to gain clarity within yourself. And that is one of the main reasons, besides many, that I personally enjoy meditation. Because you sit, if you're, there's many ways to meditate. Okay. So, but the form I'm speaking of is closing my eyes. So I close my eyes and there's nowhere to go. That's who you're left with, is you, all of you. And so that's where I learned to fall in love with myself on a deeper level, because I was sitting there and I was staying and I couldn't leave and there was nowhere to go. I couldn't run from myself. I couldn't get away. And so then you start to really listen and hear and feel and work through whatever's happening. But we tend to spend a lot of time avoiding who we are and what's happening. And so if you're not avoiding who you are and what's happening, and that again is something that is being poked upon when you go somewhere, that's another main reason to not go. Because if you are doing your work and seeing what's happening and other people are affecting you in a way that you don't feel strong enough in the moment, there's nothing wrong with that, of being able to kind of have yourself, because you have to in order to go into these situations. Then what are you going to do? So, I don't really know how to be anyone but me. So like, I just don't go to places if I'm not feeling it, or I'm not like, I don't know how to go and fake it. Like, hi, how you doing? Like,
yeah, that's something we 100% have in common. Absolutely. I'm not going somewhere if I have to be fake.
No.
I've been invited to many places where the people who are going to be there don't even know who they are personally themselves. I absolutely am not going to engage with people who are phony, fake. I cannot do it because it makes me feel sick. Like, it physically affects me.
I just moving on to the next that's why I rotate people. I'm like, I gotta go this conversation. It's just like, I don't know how to do that. Like, yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't either. Small talk makes me
I don't, yeah,
want to
I'm
bust.
like, yeah.
Gav Star said, why so serious when talking about humor? Well, our normal shows are about, serious self-love, self-healing, meditation, mediumship, mastery of all of those things. And so when we have a serious comment, we address it appropriately.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is Vivian said, you are not at the right place if you can't be your authentic self. When you stay true, the right people will come join you. Yes, yes, yes. And Amy said, I love pop and roll. And on that note, Aunt Jen, we are at the top of the hour.
We're about to pop and roll.
We are about to pop and roll. We are so glad. We hope you guys found some tips and tricks to enjoy some humor and laughter. And thank you for the puns and the jokes. And we
just
love
want to
you.
change it up a little bit,
Yeah.
even though everything is still serious. And we'll talk about like whether or not whatever the conversation goes, like even just thinking about today all day, whoever watches, like laughter, like it still is like it's a pattern interrupt. It's getting in your brain to like make yourself aware and conscious of like, how much do I laugh? That's how I'd end it. Like, how much do you pay attention? How much do you laugh? Would you find what you're laughing at? And can you find a way to be able to bring that out within yourself, even for just 1 minute a day? That would be what I would say in closing.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you, everyone. Thank you for all the comments, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.